Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. I wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened. And then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out about until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Me at Applebee's, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. We are right in the middle of off season, so what the hell are we going to talk about today? I don't know, but we're back. Rob and Ashley, folks, how we doing this week?
I'm good. I'm fixing to get Thanksgiving drunk 2 days early here. I'm just going to ride this thing out. I got a big case of Moosehead. I don't know if you ever drank that. Mm-hmm. The cheapest Canadian lager imaginable, and it's pretty good. So I recommend it. How about you, True Love? Are you getting Thanksgiving drunk during this show?
I am not, but I would like to say that I am living on cloud nine because big news this week. Casey Kane liked.
He did. He really did.
So
he was sitting on the toilet somewhere in Mooresville, and
it's a big moment in my life.
Yeah, that was a good photo of you next to the car. So I was happy to see that.
Child.
Yeah, tugging on him. Yeah. Very wholesome. Thank you, Casey. We appreciate it. We've gotten a couple likes from Mark Martin previously, but I think that's his son who runs his Instagram.
Yeah, he likes.
Still cool, but
yeah. Anytime I post anything, Mark, it gets liked by him. So the novelty's worn off.
Yeah. All riding high. That's good. How about you, Brien?
Yeah.
I know you went out and bought a very special piece of memorabilia this week. You got the nose off of Sterling Marlin's car that killed Dale Earnhardt.
It didn't kill Dale Earnhardt. So I'll tell the story real quick because it's kind of funny and weird. So just randomly on Facebook, a listing popped up that just said like NASCAR Coors memorabilia, and it was a nose to Sterling Marlin's car, and I couldn't tell at the time what year it was from or anything, but I messaged the guy, and he's like in Akron, so it's like a 40-minute drive, and all he gives is like one-word answers, like, is it available? Yes. Like, can I come get it? Yes. Like, when's a good time? Like, never responds. So I'm like, I'll come down in 2 hours, and he's like, okay, fine. Picked the thing up, and the guy was like a junk picker or something. He very clearly, there's plenty of times where I've done shit like this, and you're usually buying, especially a race used part, usually buying it from a fan. This guy was definitely just like a weird junk picker guy, because like, get to the garage, the guy was like living in a garage or something, and he couldn't find the keys to his van where the bumper was. So while he's searching,
you buy this from my fucking brother-in-law?
Maybe. While he's searching around for the keys, this little kitten comes crawling up. He's like, I just saved that thing from dying. I'm like, okay, great. So I'm playing with this kitten while he's
like everything else in the garage.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird situation. But I posted the picture of it in one of the Facebook groups, and I wasn't even going to look up what race was from or anything. I was just curious as to what year it was from. And somebody sends me a message like, it's from 2002 Rockingham. I'm like, what? Like, how the hell did you figure that out? He's like, because I was going to buy that and you did first. I'm like, what? So I guess the guy that I was speaking to was in a different part of Ohio and offered the guy $125 and gave him $60 to hold the thing. But then he just went and sold it to me for $200. Nice. So I felt a little bad for this guy. He wasn't real pissed at me or anything because, just a sketchball dude. But it was a weird little afternoon trip. I also got some Garth Brooks and Reba McEntire shirts also on Facebook on the way there. So it was a good little afternoon trip.
I guess I didn't realize Akron was 40 minutes away from Cleveland. I always thought they were kind of touching.
No, that's where I go every Saturday for my flea markets during the summer. So it's pretty close, and there's some stuff going on down there occasionally. So it's a cool spot to visit once in a while.
But you got the bumper. It's from Rockingham. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a little dirty because the guy said he found it like cleaning out a building or something. But it's very clearly race used, and for $200, it's like, why the fuck not?
That's a cool piece.
Now I got to go get a bunch of money together for a go-kart and drive to Dayton next week, so
Nice. You going racing? Brian's going racing, folks.
We'll see. So, friend of the show, listener Dylan Johns, he's my go-kart buddy. He's been really pushing me hard the last couple months to finally get a go-kart. And last night he found me a perfect roller for $1,000. So I sold a $400 leather jacket today to help pay for it. So we'll see what happens.
That's good
Are you
shit.
gonna put that bumper on the front of it to move the competition out of the way?
No, I can't. I don't think that'll pass inspection, unfortunately. So yeah, that's my update. What else is in the news? We got a bunch of bullshit happened. A bunch of silly season
There's an
stuff.
F1 race, so we can get that over with.
Yeah, we don't have to really talk about much of that, but because it was on way too late. Yeah.
Yeah, it started at 1 o'clock, and I was up anyways because I was watching the junior race, and there was also some wrestling shit on. So I watched the first 15 laps and fell asleep. I mean, it's F1.
It came on after Florence, and that was already way too late. But Max Verstappen, of course, your champion. But
my guy, I'm a Max guy.
3 races to go.
But the big piece of news that came out of Formula One for me anyway, and I think the only reason I want to bring this up is because we've talked about it previously on the show. The GM-backed entry has been approved by Formula One management and the FIA and everybody involved, all the Fs, and they're going to be racing in 2026. So we'll actually have a 22-car grid. Noticeably absent from the naming of the team is the Andretti name. However, I really did appreciate the fact that Mario Andretti is still on the board of directors, which they announced right after that came out. So I thought that was a nice little fuck you in there.
Nice.
That's Cadillac branding. This does open up a couple more seats in Formula One, obviously, and it's cool to have an American brand out there to go race in fucking Azerbaijan and Saudi Arabia and probably fucking Tel Aviv pretty soon, based on the human rights record that Formula One has. So looking forward to Colton Herta leaving IndyCar, and that Drugovich kid probably is my guess is who they'll pick up.
I will say also this it drew some questions from some people that I know, and I know there's been some talk throughout the racing world that there's a chance that maybe GM rebrands Chevy to Cadillac in NASCAR, which it's a rumor. I mean, it's something that's definitely been talked about. I mean, GM, kind of like Ford, they haven't really been doing a ton with passenger cars in the U.S., and they don't have
they don't even have a Camaro anymore.
Yeah, they don't have anything to replace the Camaro with in Cup. So there has been talk that maybe Cadillac would switch over. Obviously, nothing's been done yet, and who knows if it'll actually happen. But it would be interesting, I guess. The whole win on Sunday, sell on Monday thing hasn't really been a huge deal in NASCAR in quite some time. So I don't know. I don't know if that'll come to fruition.
Yeah, I didn't buy a Ford Focus, I can tell you that, or a Fusion or whatever the fuck it was. That doesn't exist either. So,
no. Well, I have a Mazda, which is technically a Ford, but whatever.
There you go.
The only thing I wanted to say about the F1 race was there were some NASCAR people there to watch the race. Connor Zilic, Noah Gregson, Jeff Gluck, and Jordan Bianchi. But Kyle Busch was there with his whole family. And there was a great picture that he posted of him and Samantha together. And I don't know what, I guess they were at an after party or something, but they were in these she was in a very nice evening dress, and he was in a suit, and they took a nice picture together. And in it, he is holding up his Zone 10 for the camera. So.
Oh, hell yeah. I didn't see that.
I'll be sure to find it and post it.
It's a shame that didn't make it to our video of the week this week, but we'll save that for later.
Well, they're in there, that's for sure.
What else happened?
Let's talk about NASCAR. That's enough of Formula One for now. The Banquet was this week. I didn't watch a fucking second of it.
It was
I've never
very
watched
boring.
It aired 3 days after it actually happened. So
yeah.
I don't know. You guys watched it. Tell me about it, please.
Well, I got lots of notes.
Yeah, this is
Someone's got
Trulo's forte.
Well, yeah. Since they showed it 3 days later, they cut it way down. But they held it in Charlotte. They don't even bother to do it in fun other cities anymore. It's just at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But as far as I will say, good outfits on the red carpet. I will give a shout out to Denny Hamlin. He had on a nice purple velvet suit jacket.
Like a pimp
Very
jacket?
snazzy. Christopher Bell had on like a silky white floral print suit jacket. And Tyler Reddick had on a big clunky chain necklace. So I don't know what's going on there.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Lane Riggs showed up in a sling, an arm sling, to accept his Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah, he just had shoulder surgery.
Yeah,
recently.
to be fair, he
For when
finally
he
got his
fist
shoulder
pumped
fixed.
it out of his socket.
Might have had something to do with that.
Ben Kennedy introduced Ty Majeski, and good God, that man needs some caffeine in his life or
He
something.
looked dead. Like, he just looks like a fucking zombie. And, like, I know he's far younger than any of us and looks older than us, I feel like.
They must let him do all the responses to the comments on Instagram and Twitter, because that would age anybody 30 years. You know, they say being the president of the United States is the hardest job, and it ages you like crazy. You know, Barack Obama was like 26 years old when he got elected. By the time he came out of there, he looked like Skeletor.
He
And
looks, yeah.
Same with Ben Kennedy dealing with all the DARFs on the internet, I'm sure.
Bless his heart. They also had Jim France come out, and he introduced Toyota's David Wilson. And I guess I haven't heard Jim France give many speeches lately, but good God, that man is old as fuck.
He is.
And he every bit shows it. Like, he seems very out of touch. So,
Well, what would have given that away?
what else? Most popular driver, we had Raja Karuth. Allgaier got his 5th. Elliott got his 7th.
There was a lot of discourse online about Chase being the most popular
Well,
driver.
there always is.
Well, as someone who doesn't do anything at all outside of driving the car, like has no personality and does nothing as far as
that's your
promoting the
opinion.
sport or whatever. It's not just my opinion. It's not just my opinion.
You've never been to the Napa in Dawsonville when he shows up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say that, I don't know. I don't care about that shit at all. So my opinion is probably negative here. But I will say that I think that NASCAR is at a point to where we've never had a real legitimate chance to have this discussion. People say it every year, and it's kind of bullshit. You know, like, of course, Chase is the most popular driver, truly, for a long time. But I think it's a good thing that you can actually have this discussion in earnest, because, I mean, Ryan Blaney's huge. Kyle Larson is huge. There's Denny Hamlin's huge. We were finally starting to get some, you know, for what it's worth, star power, I guess, is the word you'd use to describe this. And I think I don't know if it's justified. I mean, dude won, whatever. It's a fan vote. You know, who cares? Like, he won it legitimately. But I think that NASCAR is in a good position because we're able to actually have this discussion now, and there actually might be some merit to it, because you see a lot of Ryan Blaney T-shirts out there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me for him to get that award at some point, but it just depends on whether or not all
I
the...
think Blaney finished 3rd in the vote this year. So
All of us Kyle Larson fans are too busy misspelling shit on Facebook to get out there and put the vote in. So it is what it is.
they
Ty Majeski's wife. You
normally-
didn't talk about Ty Majeski's wife looking like
Yeah,
Ben
she
Rhodes'
looked
wife.
miserable. Yeah. What was going on
Explain
there?
that to me, please.
Well,
I didn't
Brien
see
was
this.
the one that really.
Well, I mean, we talked about it last year watching the show, but when Ben Rhodes won the title last year, his wife just looked very annoyed and pissed off the whole time, and that's exactly how Ty's wife looked as he was giving his speech. Like, same sort of expression on her face, and like not really much joy going on there or anything. So that was.
I mean, Ty probably been drunk for 2 weeks since he won that title, so I guess I can understand that. But
Normally every year they do that really long section where they remember everyone that passed away this year, and they cut that out this year. They only did a quick little snippet of Kale and Bobby that segued into a commercial, and that was it. So I was pretty disappointed in that, because I was kind of looking forward.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Greg Biffle was honored for his hurricane relief efforts, but they cut out his speech. They cut out a lot of speeches. Like, I don't know, they just really take all the meat out of these banquets now. It's like, I don't know, it's not the same as it used to
was
be.
it all CW or USA?
It was on CW, yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say if it was USA, I understand they got to get back to Law and Order pretty quickly, but
Yeah. It was I feel like every single commercial break had a Hair Club for Men commercial with Joey Logano in it. With a promo code 20% off if
I
the
thought
word
it was
Joey.
very interesting how he said he had alopecia. Like, motherfucker, I've known plenty of people with alopecia, and your hair does not just recede in an even line like his was for years. Like, he was just going bald. I don't know why you got to use an excuse.
Speaking of hair loss,
shitting on a man's baldness.
well, I'm gonna shit on some more because Chase Briscoe came up there,
Yes,
and good lord, that he has a comb over of an 80-year-old man. Like,
Yeah, he needs that next
shave
sponsorship.
it. God, just shave it.
I did see that picture on Twitter, and yeah, guess you can't wear a hat to the banquet. So
Yeah.
No.
A couple of my favorite parts, though, was Truex came up there and they had Johnny Morris come out Johnny Morris made this big deal, like, oh, I've got this great gift for you. It's very rare. You're going to love it. They bring out this gift. It's wrapped up. So Martin has to stand on stage and unwrap it. And it just ends up being a framed photo of Truex's car that won Talladega in like 2009 or something. You could see the disappointment all over Truex's face. So.
I think they're going to give him a boat or something.
So
That's
in
what
front
I
of
was
the boat.
expecting.
Yeah, he had his eyes on that tracker with the fucking Evinrude, and that's what he was looking for. But
My all-time favorite part of the whole award ceremony, though, was when Denny Hamlin was on stage, and he starts talking about David Wilson, who's from Toyota and who's retiring this year, and saying that when he decided to start up 2311, he said the first person he called was David Wilson, and was like, I need your help. And they cut the camera to David sitting in the crowd, and to David's right is Steve Phelps, and Steve very obviously rolled his eyes at Denny Hamlin speaking on stage, so I thought that was interesting. Lots of beef at the awards.
yeah, wonder why.
Yeah. And then right after that, Roger Penske comes on stage and shoves Jim France's boot all the way down his throat. Thanking the France family and how much of their own money that they pour into the sport and how it's never been better. And it really felt like a personal dig. So,
Well, Roger needs to keep him coming to Indianapolis to make some money, so.
yeah. Roger looks like he's got one foot in the grave.
You hate to hear that. Yeah, he's been old for as long as I've been alive, that's for sure.
He's been old his entire life.
Yeah, gray hair in the 70s. But yeah, I saw those comments. I mean, it's to be expected. It's, business shit, whatever. But yeah, definitely disappointing and not surprised, I guess.
Yeah. And then, Logano gave his speech. It was mostly just a whole bunch of, gee golly jeepers, I love Coke, ice cold Cokes, stuff like that.
Yeah, not the good Coke.
Typical Logano. They did show a couple crowd shots during his speech, and everyone was playing on their phone. Reddick and his wife were sitting there on their phone, Logano's entire speech. There was some video of the after party, though, where Shaq was the DJ and Reddick and his wife were on stage getting down to some Fall Out Boy. That was a great clip. So
we got time for that, but we don't have time for everybody who died this year. That's cool. Nice.
So yeah, that was a awards banquet.
Don't waste your time.
I don't think I've ever watched one of those. I watched the Hall of Fame inductions and all that when they put it out there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, but
Yeah.
I could do without the banquets.
Yeah. They've whittled it down to basically nothing these days, so.
Yeah, it was dumb. What else is going on? And much better, more interesting news.
Speaking of guys who weren't at the banquet, by the way.
Yeah, BJ McLeod decided to build himself a roller coaster in Tennessee.
Pigeon Forge, baby.
Explain, because you made it sound like this is a thing in Tennessee. Like, what are these coasters? Are they like not actual roller coasters, right? They're like
No, I guess they're called mountain coasters, but you basically just sit in them. There's not much I've never been on one, but it doesn't seem like there's much safety involved. They're nothing crazy. It's just like
Yeah. You ever seen those alpine slides? They'll have it like ski hills and shit like that.
It's that type of deal. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at it now.
It's different, but it's the same idea. And if you've been to Pigeon Forge, the Redneck Riviera, you would understand why this is an appropriate choice of location to build this thing. I think they'll do pretty well for themselves, and I will ride it if I ever play Pigeon Forge again. So
there are alpine slides up in like New York and Vermont and stuff, and I've ridden those as a kid, and they are way more. You're not on a rail like this. You're on a rail, and you can kind of control your speed. But the alpine slides is just like you're in this little cart in a
with a little handbrake.
The little handbrake, and you're in a concrete slide, and you can eat shit on those things.
Oh yeah, and there's rocks in there for some reason.
Yeah.
Once I don't know where the fuck the rocks come from, but boy, those things will send you sideways. There. Bad news.
Jesus Christ, what are y'all doing up there?
We don't fuck around.
Yeah, that's what he's decided to spend his millions on.
I'm sure he'll do fine with it. It's the first racing one. You know, that's a milestone for Tennessee.
Yeah, like I said,
I was hoping it would be new metal themed, but it's not.
Close enough, you know.
There will be skulls somewhere there, I'm sure.
Like I said, if I ever play Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg ever again, I will 100% be riding this slide, and I will report back to the class on my experience.
Let us know. Get a T-shirt.
I will. It's gonna be a sick T-shirt, I can tell you that.
In other news, James Small, he is Chase Briscoe's new crew chief over at Joe Gibbs Racing, and he threw some shade at Martin Truex Jr. on his way on Truex's way out the door, stating that it's going to be nice to have somebody who lives in North Carolina and comes to the shop multiple times a week, so we can actually build a team around him.
I didn't even know
not
that
very subtle there.
Didn't live there.
I didn't either. I thought he was living in Carolina like everybody else was, so that was news to me. I mean, it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to see how checked out Truex has been for the past, 4 years. You know, his interest has not been here. And again, like we talked about Shelley passing away earlier, but we don't got to rehash any of that stuff. But I'm sure that was on his mind, and I feel like he's pretty well done with stock car racing. So if you don't have to be at the shop, you're not going to be at the shop on your way out. So it's probably good for everybody. And those guys didn't seem to like each other very much anyway. So
no,
yeah,
their radio communication was spicy.
Yeah, it was never good. So
yeah. Speaking of
anybody
spicy,
else forget that Chase Briscoe was going to Gibbs? I cannot get that in my head. Anyway, sorry, Brian.
Speaking of spicy, or maybe not so spicy, fresh off his announcement of joining 2311, Riley Herbst decided to piss off a bunch of people on Twitter by stating that Thanksgiving food is not good. Now, he's not the first person in my life I've ever heard say that, and I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, I like Thanksgiving food. I'm not afraid to eat it other times during the year, but I'm also not as big into the holiday or tradition as everybody else, so it's less about the food and more about the other bullshit. But I think we all like Thanksgiving food, right?
I'm on Team Riley on this one. It's my least favorite scheduled meal of the year. I don't.
It's my most favorite scheduled meal of the year. It's my favorite holiday.
Thanksgiving's your favorite holiday?
Just because it's a holiday solely dedicated to eating an ungodly amount of food and not being judged for it.
I do like that. I like that part of it, but the meal itself, I live up in Massachusetts, so we don't. I was saying this before the show started. We don't get the mac and cheese or the collard greens or
in your food.
Any of the extra. Yeah, it's just. I do what I can. I do a lot of the cooking at Thanksgiving, and my sister-in-law does a good job at the turkey as well. But yeah, I just don't care, and there's so much of it left over at the end of it, and it's my goal it's my goal to get the fuck out of the house before I get a doggy bag sent my way because I'm done with it. But
oh no,
I'll eat
living
stuffing,
off that shit for days.
Yeah, I'll eat stuffing in green bean casserole for the week afterwards.
All turkey is dry.
Yep.
All of it. I don't care how.
Y'all are doing something wrong.
I've never deep fried one. Apparently that's that's a way to do it, but
It's not a whole lot different from my experiences.
very underwhelming bird. But, to each his own. I'm not going to hate on anybody for enjoying it. It is a good time. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving. But, if I could just eat Chinese food, I would do that instead. But unfortunately, I don't have the opportunity. So I'll see you in Vegas, Riley. But I'm guessing the buffets in Vegas are probably pretty shitty, too. The casino buffets and all that. So maybe that's where his opinion is coming from.
I mean, they're pretty rich. I would hope he's not eating at the casinos for Thanksgiving.
That's fun.
I feel like probably all that Monster Energy he consumes has killed his taste buds.
All the Red 40 has compromised his palate. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject of food, though, apparently
Big news right here.
If you blinked and you missed it, because I missed it, but I know True Love didn't. Apparently earlier this week or last week on the NASCAR fan rewards page, which we were talking about this before the show started. If you're not signed up for the NASCAR fan rewards deal on the app, you should do that because it's very easy. As long as you're consistent with checking in for the races and stuff, it's very easy to get yourself a bunch of free shit. I already got myself a $100 gift card to the Fanatic store and tickets to Darlington next year. I know True Love got tickets. So if you're not doing this, do it because it's very easy to get free shit. Just check in every week. But
yeah, see, I thought it was going to be one of those deals where, like, what need do I have for a fucking 10-year-old Carl Edwards lanyard? That's what I figured you'd get out of this sort of thing. But apparently that's not the case. I mean, you can get that. But
you can get actual tickets. They have experiences where you can wave the green flag at practice or take a photo in Victory Lane. And again, there are gift cards and stuff. The gift cards are hit and miss because it seems like they have a limited supply. But anyways, True Love did point out there was a Applebee's gift card in the fan reward store at one point. So
$2,500 gift card.
points.
Yeah, I don't know how many points it takes or how long it takes to get 2,500 points, but that's a pretty good deal right there if you're looking to be disappointed at a fast casual restaurant. So,
Yep.
Yeah, that's not what I spent my points on.
Other NASCAR news, though, Daniel Hemrick is going to be taking over Christian Eckes' seat in the Napa truck next year.
We kind of alluded to that a little earlier with the McAnally deal. It's the same team that is rumored to be starting their own Cup team for NASCAR to see how much it costs. So, and Hemrick was, had been tied to that. So it makes sense that he be in the 19 here.
Yeah.
Trucks feels like where he belongs with his skill level.
Yeah, that's fair.
Isn't he going for like Rookie of the Year too?
I don't know if he
I'm
can do
serious.
that.
Can you imagine winning an Xfinity championship and then going for Truck Rookie of the Year?
I'm pretty sure he's eligible.
I don't think that's. I don't think.
I'm
That's
gonna look
true.
this up. I think he is, but
Other NASCAR news, there's going to be a revised layout at COTA next year. Basically, they cut off a couple turns in a section of the course and
at the track,
shorten it down to 2.3 miles. I don't really care. I mean, I don't love COTA, so I don't know if this is going to make it better or worse. Whatever. It's a fucking dumb road course.
Extend it to 100 laps, which is like doubling the previous amount. So
yeah. I mean,
Great.
look, people are bitching about this on the internet, but let's be honest. They ran supercars there back when COTA first opened, and it was fine. One thing I hate about road racing in NASCAR is that a lot of the tracks are way too long. And I think this is a good thing to bring that back in. Now, do we need twice the laps? I don't know. But that kind of creates another problem for me. But anything that keeps us from having like fucking 30-minute yellow flag periods, I'm okay with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, great. That's next year. We can worry about that now.
Who cares?
This was surprising news to not just the NASCAR world, but to Denny Hamlin also. He's going to be getting a new crew chief next year. Chris Gabehart is out. He is moving to competition director of Joe Gibbs Racing, and Chris Gale is moving over from the 54 to the 11 car. Now, this to me seems somewhat reminiscent of the end of Kyle Busch's tenure at Joe Gibbs, where maybe the equipment and the attention isn't necessarily going towards him like it used to, and that kind of is what it seems like with Denny, especially not being told about this until like a 6 o'clock meeting on Friday or whatever the hell he said it happened.
Yeah, that is a little surprising.
doesn't bode well. And I mean, yeah, he already lost FedEx as a sponsor. He's got all this shit going on with NASCAR.
I mean, Gabe Hart going to competition director, that position, that does make a lot of sense. I think he could probably help everybody. Who's the new crew chief? Did they announce that yet?
Chris Gale.
Chris Gale, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. They haven't announced Ty Gibbs' new crew chief yet, but
No.
who cares?
Yeah, it's going to be Microsoft AI. Real quick, so I had forgotten that Daniel Hemrick has run 2 full-time truck seasons.
There you go,
And
not
one with Brad
eligible.
Keselowski Racing, where he finished 6th in the standings. So, sorry,
Yeah,
8th
good
in
for
the
him.
standings. Wait, hold on.
Oh,
6th in the standings.
18th.
Papa don't have his glasses on, so he can't see. But yeah, so I take that back. Will not be running for Rookie of the Year, though it would be very funny if he
It's
did.
too bad. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
While also on the subject of Joe Gibbs in 2311, somewhat, Martin Truex announced, I think he initially said he'd be running the Daytona 500 in a 2311 car, and now it looks like it's going to be a Gibbs car.
Well, Denny had said on Twitter that anytime he wanted to run with them, there would be a car available for him. That was where the connection came. There was never that was the only allusion to it, and I think it was a safe understanding that probably would have happened if it wasn't for all the night court unpleasantness that we're seeing between NASCAR and
Yeah,
Denny
I was
right
going
now.
to say that announcement came before the lawsuit, which is also who the hell knows what's going on with that, because apparently the 2 teams rescinded their appeal for the injunction bullshit. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Even Bianchi and Gluck don't know what's going on with it. So whatever. You know, we're your news source here at Meet Me at Applebee's, and I've got all the
America's
details.
#1 ill-informed motorsports podcast.
But there is something else that is 100% definite, and that is Tony Bridner moving to the Truck Series full time next year. So watch out, Malcolm in the Middle. She's going to take your Rookie of the Year title, I bet.
And probably most popular driver.
Yeah, I could easily
Pick up
see
all
that.
of
for
Haley
sure.
Deegan's fans.
All the scraps.
Well, it does. I know it's however the fuck, but my brain sees it and wants to say Bree Dinger.
I thought it was
Tony-
Bredinger.
That's what I thought it was too, but it's Bridinger or Briden. I don't know fucking say it either. Whatever. Tony B.
Yeah, a whole lot of top 20s
Dinger
coming up
part
here.
2.
So good for
Dinger
her.
Jr.
And maybe there'll be some more Raising Cane's activations at the racetrack. And they are coming up to Loudon, so maybe I'll get some free tenders out of this.
It's true. There you go.
They're fine. They're not the best, not the worst.
Yeah.
And finally, Bowman Gray announced that they have sold out for the Clash in February.
Big fucking surprise.
Yeah, I mean, come on, everybody
I'm surprised it
expected
took
that.
2 months.
They sell out
for that to
fucking
happen.
local modified shows, so I'm not surprised the Cup Series did that. But
Well, you can enjoy that mess, True Love, because Rob and I will be watching from home for sure.
I think it'll be fun.
yeah, it is going to
I'm
be fun.
excited to go.
I'm also very excited for the fact that they've added a modified feature with all the local guys. I think that's very cool. You know, the dudes that kept that place open and packed for as many years as it has been open without the help of NASCAR. It's nice that they're going to get the light shined on them for a little bit. It probably won't be on TV, but I'm sure Flo will pick that up. And it'll be cool to see Burt Myers and, you know, all those guys out there ripping in front of a big crowd. It's a big stage and it's well-deserved.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, on to DARF of the Week, I guess, now.
Oh, yeah, we got a good one this week. It's a return of a legend.
Yes. Ultimate 23 Dragon.
Again.
Now, she made this comment, and I don't know where she
Old
made
seven
it
time.
because I was going to
I
respond.
tried to look and I couldn't find it.
I don't know if it was on a YouTube video or what, because I thought she made a video upset about this, and you know, Rob said the quote, and I was gonna go leave it on her page of Cope-Harder Libtard would have been a great way to respond to this.
Yeah.
But she posted on somewhere, who knows where, and now for the 4th year in a row, NASCAR gifted the Truck Series Most Popular Driver Award to someone who most certainly did not win it. Haley Deegan, with her over 90% simp base, is bad enough. But now the literal racist clown, just to kiss Icy Vert's ass, as well as the racist circus he and his fellow racists, Larson, Hamlin, Bubba, Phelps, and O'Donnell, brought into the sport. Disgusting. Wonder who seriously won it and NASCAR stole it from this time. Probably Grant Enfinger.
Two things.
Grant Enfinger.
One, this is about Raja fucking Carruth here,
Yes.
so I don't know if I would call him racist, but maybe he does hold prejudice in his heart. I don't know, but I've never seen that.
Against her.
Yeah, there's
And Grant fucking Enfinger? Are you kidding me?
well, he was in the running. We'll give him credit there.
Was he?
He was in the running. I mean, he's one of the only Truck Series names there are. I feel like he's been around for a
voting for
while.
Grant Enfinger is like voting for fucking Chase Oliver. They're just not going to win. You know?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And yeah, I love her list of racists. I mean, Larson being in there, that's not a shock, but you know, Hamlin and Bubba, and it's so funny how she.
Quite the gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Ultimate 23 Dragon. It's a shame you're still alive,
The
but
throne,
you are.
the throne is yours. Jesus Christ.
Johnny Benson will dance on your grave someday.
Yeah, we'll see about that. How old is Johnny? He's pretty young, right? He's like 50.
Late 50s, late 50s, early 60s, I want to say.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know for sure.
There's still time. Yeah.
Yeah. But the septic tank, it's time to move on to the septic tank. And I was actually in there for a little bit this weekend with a few different races.
It's a big
yeah.
one. It's a big
Obviously-
old tank this weekend.
Yeah, obviously the big one, which we all were watching, we tried to watch, I should say. What the hell
Boy,
is
I'll
this?
say
Is
the
it
South Carolina,
South?
the South
Yeah,
Carolina
South Carolina
400 at Florence. Of course, this is
Yeah.
Dale Jr.'s not his return to Florence or late model competition by any means. He's run this race before. I believe the first time was in the Sundrop car. No, that was Wilkesboro. I'm sorry, it was the Bass Pro cars when
Yeah, I
he
mean,
came back.
he's run this race a few times, so it's not like people were, you know, this was the big debut. It was the re-debut of the 8 Bud car, which is why
This was the big deal,
Tons of
yeah.
people showed up, and it's why the broadcast shit the bed, basically. I mean,
Yeah, boy, for everything that could have gone wrong for these folks, it sure did. Let's just go through the list of what happened to the folks at the Speedway. They oversold it. There was no parking for anybody after about not even after, but the 2 hours before the race, they're already parking people out on the highway. And again, I just want to point out that the downfall and all the bullshit that people are talking about this event is due to the fact that there was such high demand to witness this. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing. The reasons why this bad shit happened are very good. But,
Yeah.
I mean, God, they lost power in the broadcast booth. James Pike for Flow Racing had to call the race from the pits. He's a pit reporter. He's not a play-by-play guy. But they had no power up in the booth. Race monitor went down for a little while. There was no internet at the racetrack because of just overwhelming demand. Like, the shit was crushed, so the broadcast failed. And, you know, for a while we got the screen of death, like you'd stayed up till 2 a.m. and passed out on your couch with the congratulations, you missed the feature music going. And for a while there was just audio, which was something. That was a choice. Oftentimes the broadcast was just pixelated, and you know, I don't know. It was
So pixelated.
what a bummer. What a fucking bummer. You know.
At one point, they came back from the screen of death, and then there's just a fucking big, massive wreck in turn 1, and dudes are fighting,
no
and there's no
sound.
idea what the fuck's going on at all.
Which, by the way,
Zero audio.
that was Connor Jones doing his usual routine. And fellow jackass Mason Diaz decided to go fight him. Both of those guys are unhinged, and I loved watching that very much. But yeah, quick shout out to both Matt Weaver and Moonhead for essentially covering the race in Flow Racing's steed. Moonhead just had his phone out on the front stretch and was just filming the cars go by for like a good 35 minutes. And then Matt Weaver, of course, was on Twitter doing his best to keep everybody updated. And again, like, I don't want to put too much shit on Flow Racing, you know, because I mean, for a lot of folks who don't know how some of these races work, Flow doesn't actually produce the broadcast. It's the racetrack, you know, and there's select events where there are different crews that go in. Like, Flow actually has their own production team that'll go in and do like the Chili Bowl, and I assume that Five Flags is going to have the Flow Racing team for the Snowball Derby coming up, and the Dome and all. They have their own crew for big events. High Limit, for example. The MAV TV guys and Dirt on Dirt, they do all the Lucas Oil shit. So they have these separate teams that come in, and Flow Racing is really just the place to post it all. When you watch an event at Stafford, that's the Stafford Speedway crew that is producing the broadcast and sending it out to be hosted on Flow. And I believe that was the same situation that was happening here with Florence, who they have the Icebreaker and a few other races on Flow throughout the year, and it's their own little team that handles it. And certainly that racetrack is not meant to hold a major event, and certainly not one that Dale Jr. decides to show up in Redneck Jesus' fucking chariot. And that
explains why there was only 2 terrible camera angles for the whole race.
And apparently it's a pretty accurate representation for what it's like to actually be at Florence, because you can't see shit when you're in the grandstands anyway, from what I gather. But yeah, what a shame. What a shame. The racing was all right. Of course, Dale Jr., he qualified like in 90th place.
41st.
Very, very slow.
41st with the provisional.
Yeah, he got a provisional, and I don't know what they did to the car, or if he just cowboyed up and centered himself and sent it in there, but he made his way all the way up to second place. It was a hell of a thing to watch when you could watch it. And
the crowd lost their shit when he moved up to second.
Yeah, it was, and I'm pretty sure he would have had Trayton Lapsevich, who eventually won the race. Congratulations to him. Of course, he won North Wilkesboro earlier this year. The first Canadian to win the South Carolina 400, so good on him. We're going to have to hear "Oh Canada" down here a little bit more, which I've bitched about on the show previously, but, he's Canadian, so he's earned it. So the South is slowly becoming the Northeast. One more thing I'll say about this before we move on. The broadcast issues sucked. It sucked that the track wasn't able to handle the demand. But the thing and Freddie Kraft tweeted this, or I assume it was Freddie, was on the Couch Racers Twitter account. But all those things, they suck. But the thing that is really shitty about all of this is that the whole race ran on classic Southern time. And the feature didn't even start till 9:45, and the weather was 30 degrees. So you have a giant event, you get people interested, they come out. All these people are potential future fans of short track racing. Because let's be honest, most of the people there probably are just junior fans, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Butterbean Queen fans showing up to this one, or Cars Tour fans. I'm sure there were, but for the amount of people that were there and the amount of people that were tuning in to watch this, having to sit around for 45 minutes while they inflate a fucking an arch for these guys to walk through it's just so silly. And then running 50-lap street stock features where there's 4 cars. Come on. We don't have that in New England. The promotion up here is very tight. And anytime I watch one of these Southern events, it just pisses me off because we could have been done 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago, we could have been done with this shit, and that wouldn't have mitigated any of the broadcast issues or any of the technical stuff. It still would have sucked. We all would have been complaining and being pissed off about it. But they didn't have to run that shit as a lead in to the Formula One race at 4 a.m. or whenever that came on. So I would really hope that this is a point for everyone in the South that runs late model races to watch and learn to just try and, a little bit of the quickness, please, when we're moving these shows along.
No, we don't move so fast down here with anything that we do.
The American Canadian Tour runs a show. It's done in 3 hours. I'm telling you. Go ahead, True. I'm sorry.
When Junior went behind the wall with 30 to go, the grandstands emptied out almost completely. And after that, the broadcast was crystal clear those last 30 laps.
Yep.
Also, to all of our new friends who just tuned into this for the first time, welcome to Short Track Racing Broadcasting. This is part of the deal when it's streaming like that. It's a very classic Racing America or Speed 51 Snowball Derby fuck up. So you just get used to it. It doesn't happen often. And I would hope that people who, bought the $40 subscription for 1 month for Flow, give it another chance. And if you watched Ventura this weekend or you're going to watch the Snowball Derby, you're probably not going to see these issues going forward because they're most definitely prepared for these bigger events. So don't let this turn you off from tuning in and watching some short track racing because it's not always like that. Also, quick shout out to Matt Cox. This is the septic tank race of the week here. the Sammy Scarpelli Memorial 96 that took place on Friday night. No streaming problems for that one for some reason. But Matt Cox and Ricky Locklear Jr., they ran side by side for about 11 laps at the end of the race, and it was perfectly clean, hard, fair racing that came down to an absolute nail biter of a photo finish. I'm sure we'll post the video on our Instagram this week, but that was fucking incredible to watch, and everyone was excited to see old Matt get a win there. So,
the other race that I know I watched, I'm assuming Rob watched. I don't know if Ashley did.
No, I only watched Junior.
The
I watched
Sunday
on an
night
illegal stream, so
the Sunday night Merced race.
boy, that track was fucked.
Yeah, that track was fucked up. I don't know the driver's name, but there was a clip in qualifying of
Cody
this
Spencer.
sprint car.
Yeah.
Okay, this sprint car, he goes into turn one, hits the rut, and does like a pirouette on his gas tank,
Flips.
and then continues his fucking run. He continues his qualifying run, which was insane to see.
I think he had 23rd quick time after completely flipping his race car. So good for him.
The track looked like Weaver Valley. It was incredibly rough. I mean, there's a clip that probably a lot of people have seen of Larson taking it over the berm and like wheeling back out onto the track. The cars were just bouncing and flopping around the whole goddamn track the whole time. It was really, really wild to see.
It was wild racing. Yeah, very old school. Yeah.
Larson swept both the USAC and the sprint cars on Sunday. I don't know what else happened though, Rob. I know you watched more of it than I did.
Yeah, so of course the show was supposed to start on Friday night, and then the big feature is going to be on Saturday night, but it rained so much up there that's why both shows happened on Sunday. Worked out for me scheduling wise, because that way I could sit there and watch my TV buffer for Dale Jr. running a late model. That was cool. But let's see. Corey Day picked up the quote-unquote Friday night portion of the USAC show. I had money on Carson Macedo, and he was about to win me a night worth of hotel room at the Chili Bowl. But instead, he decided to throw yet another shitty slider and step on his own dick and just gave it away to Corey Day. So I was pretty upset about that. Carson also won earlier in the week. And let me give you a little secret here. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I want to keep winning. But DraftKings has USAC odds on there, and you can bet on USAC. Sometimes.
Because I
they didn't have the Saturday show or the big feature. They didn't have that on there, but they had the Friday night or whatever the opening night was. And boy, those odds are fucked up.
Yeah, because I looked after you told me that, and I couldn't find him. I know a friend of the show, Mike, also looked, and he couldn't find him. But I've seen him there before. So
but yeah, keep an eye on that. You can definitely make money on this. They tend to base the odds based on what happened the last time they had betting open for it, which is not always a good indicator of what you're going to see, which is why Carson Macedo was such a moneymaker until Corey Day came in and fucking crushed my dreams. So I'm going to go visit him at the Chili Bowl if he's running, and I'm going to let him know that he took a few bucks away from me. But also shout out to TJ Neto winning the 360 show for the Friday night portion. And again, Kyle Larson just, so fast in both features and really showed why he is who he is on dirt. Of course, him and Tyler Courtney, both of their cars got disqualified out of qualifying. I think they were underweight or something. I can't remember exactly what happened, but they started from the rear in those features. And, they both made their way up pretty far in the first race. But, it was all bets were off in the second one, and Larson put on a big show there. Again, I love Merced. It's such a fucking sick little racetrack. Even when it's fucked up like that. And a shout out to that crew for actually getting something together for these guys to race on. And also Carson Macedo making everybody in the world mad. I think he wrecked like 3 or 4 race cars this week by sliding into lap traffic and flipping people and all that. And, Carson kind of flies under the radar for most, at least less in tune sprint car fans for being very aggressive and kind of dirty, but it was on full fucking display this week. So he's not making any friends out there, but hey, it is what it is. I guess that's what wins races these days and does not win me money on fucking DraftKings. So in other news, speaking of dirt racing, the Chili Bowl, they finally hit 100 entries. So they released the list, folks, and we got some good ones on here. Sammy Swindell, of course, is going to be running. No surprises there. Ricky Thornton Jr. Is announced. Some interesting shit coming out about that because the Lucas Oil late model schedule has shifted a little bit. So the Chili Bowl actually overlaps with the show at Golden Isles. So we'll see exactly how that works out. Thomas Meserole is on there. Let's see, I'm just scrolling through now. Alex Bowman is bringing 4 cars. And he's got some pretty good drivers in there. C.J. Leary, Kevin Thomas Jr., Jake Swanson. Of course, they've all driven for him previously. And the addition of Briggs Danner is certainly interesting. He's been around a long time and kind of under the radar, but definitely a good shoe. And I think he'll serve him well. Jared Coons Jr., as always. Joe B. Miller. There's a bunch of fucking people on here. And it's only going to get bigger as we get closer to January. So I'm really excited for that. Also, the World of Outlaws dropped their schedule for the Sprint Car Series. Nothing too crazy on there. My favorite part of this whole thing is that they're going to Vado in New Mexico, which means it's the return of big-time 410 sprint car racing to that track. Very pleased to see that. New Mexico, of course, has a big history of sprint car racing in the past, but not so much lately, so it's very cool to see them come back there. All the big events are still there. The Husitz has some big shows, Knoxville Nationals, Kings Royal, all that, and some other visits to Pennsylvania and elsewhere. And yeah, I think that is just about it for this week's Septic Tank. This weekend, there is a lot of racing happening. Of course, the Turkey Derby is happening down at Wall Stadium. I think it's the last big pavement tour modified show of the year. I'm pretty sure Matt Hirschman's going to win that and feed his family for the winter. No surprises there, but we'll be pulling for Jimmy Blewett, or at least I will be anyway. The Turkey Night Grand Prix out of Ventura. This is one of the big granddaddy fucking midget races of the year. Kyle Larson's running it. Kyle Busch is also running it as far as the NASCAR contingency is concerned, and pretty much everybody else in the midget world is going to be there. Sans Jade Avedizium, which still praying to thinking about you, bud. Hope you get well soon in time for the Chili Bowl. And also the Thanksgiving Classic at Southern National on Racing America this weekend. So once you get tired of football, there is plenty of short track racing going on, and I encourage you to check it out, especially if you're one of those folks that spent $40 on the sub just to watch Dale Jr. have a bad night. Trust me, there's plenty of good shit to watch out there, and I hope you take the time to check it out, because there ain't nothing like short track racing, I can tell you that. And before we go into probably the most aggravating video of the week segment we've ever had, I almost don't want to flush it because I want to flush this segment down with it.
I'd rather sit in a septic tank for another hour.
Yeah. we'll let these 3 turds float here alongside us for a little bit, because I think it's appropriate. Video of the week, Brian. Go ahead and tell them what you did to us.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I wasn't necessarily looking to find the worst videos I could for this week's show, but I did. Yeah, I did.
You batted the fucking cycle this week, bud. Holy shit.
So I will say that we'll talk about the Where video last, because there's the most meat on that bone. But that video just popped up in my recommended feed, and I watched it, and I was like, there's enough weird shit in here that this will be interesting for the show at least. Yeah. The other 2, I was just, again, looking for Thanksgiving videos, and they were the 2 worst ones I could find. So we'll start it off with the AI video. So there is the Bush family Thanksgiving. I don't know what the hell the deal is with this feed, but all it is just like AI generated like videos based on like news articles or something. And
based
it was
off Instagram posts.
Based on Instagram post. Okay. And yeah, all this video did, like, there's not much to talk about. Like they mentioned Thanksgiving briefly at the beginning, like the family had Thanksgiving dinner and there were photos of it or some bullshit. But hello.
We're here.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I thought my internet shit out.
No, you explain to the people what you've done.
Yeah, just letting you hear this one.
They talk about their Thanksgiving, but then they just go into talking about like the Bushes trying to have another kid, and they talk about all these photos that actually aren't in the video, and it's just bizarre. And like they're mispronouncing some words and stuff, and I don't know why I made you guys watch this. I think I was just so stunned that this video exists, and I wanted somebody else to see it also.
Yeah.
It was really bad, really stupid.
100% AI. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all AI. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that the other week my boyfriend was telling me about this, some new AI feature where you can like put in some words and it'll turn it into an entire podcast for you. And after watching this video, I wanted to just put in some words and have it That's not my response to this video.
Have it be you from now on.
Yeah.
Tired of staying up late.
Yeah.
I promise I will never, ever do another video like this again.
Trust is broken.
Stop motion, I can't promise, but AI videos, that's a one and done. Rob, I'm assuming you have no notes for this, do you?
No, I'm hoping that my anger is palpable and able to be felt through the audio here.
Okay.
I did just pour myself a shot to discuss this next one, though.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys heard the bottle squeak, but
I did, yes.
yeah, that's what this is for. This is by far. So I'll say this. These three videos are by far the most aggravating that we've seen. The Cody Ware one's all right, I guess, and we'll talk about that.
Again,
but
there's some stuff there.
There's something about this collection of three that just makes me itch in a way that I can't even describe, and I can't explain why, but they're so fucking cohesive that it's just like they all work together in this really nasty way. It's like it's like a good Thanksgiving turkey. All the ingredients together just create this thing. And,
so it's funny you mention that because I was thinking about this group myself, and I guess what I wanted to say is, like, YouTube is an amazing resource for so many good racing videos, old races, TV shows, people that do Slap Shoes and Brock Beard and those types that do these cool video essays that are well researched and well thought out. But it's also a place where people can just post whatever the fuck they want. And I do occasionally like to dip into that realm of awful NASCAR videos just to kind of give people a perspective on what else is out there. So I guess that's why some of the videos make it to the playlist. But that's about
as well as you could have whitewashed that shit, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. I'm gonna drink this fucking liquor.
This second video, what the hell was the title of it? Dale's
NASCAR
Thanksgiving
parody. Dale's Thanksgiving party. In parentheses, it said warning, weird and silly.
Yes. So
don't say they didn't warn you.
I don't even know how I can summarize this video, but basically it is it's a young special kid. Let's just leave it at that.
It's a child. It is a literal child.
It's definitely a child. Yeah. Definitely a child. And he's got this group of cars, and it's all these different Dale Earnhardt paint schemes, or Dale Jr. paint schemes, I should say. And and there's all these other cars too, and he's created this scenario where all these cars are having Thanksgiving dinner party or something, and the kid creates this story of Dale Sr. going out to find food for all of his little Dale Juniors, because each one of the different paint schemes is a different Dale Jr. apparently.
Of course
and
it is.
While he's going out finding Thanksgiving food, he gets killed, and then his best friend Mikey comes in and saves the day to provide food for the little Dale Juniors, kind of like in real life.
It's a biblical style rendering of the story for sure. Yeah.
But then all the other drivers start to get annoyed by this story, and then they start shooting each other. The kid's got a fucking Nerf gun out, and he shoots Mikey first, and then I think he kills Denny Hamlin.
That's where I would have started too. Yeah.
And then all the drivers just start leaving. I don't understand anything that's going on. The kid doesn't have any sort of cohesive story. None of it makes any fucking sense.
Yeah,
Again, it's a child, yes.
I will say that if you did not watch the South Carolina 400, this does pretty much wrap up the quality of most of the broadcast. It looked a lot like that.
Yeah, not only does the story make no sense, it's also very horrible quality video also. So.
I kept waiting for Mason Diaz to pop out and whoop Connor Hall's ass again.
I'm not sure how this qualifies as stop motion because it was just he would take a picture of a car and then move it very erratically and then take another picture. There was no cohesion to the movements of these cars.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of the whole video is when the Michael Waltrip comes to save the day, and he says, friend Michael comes over and takes him to Daytona, and they live happily ever after. But the emphasis that he puts on Day and Tona, just
Well, hey, at least you got a little joy out of it then. That's good.
I don't know if joy is
Joy
the
is
word I
not
would
the right
use,
word.
but
Yeah.
at the end when all the drivers are being killed off and the kid just keeps shouting no over and over again, that was me after having to sit through this video.
Yeah. He definitely spoke for me in that moment as well.
Yeah.
The disappointment in your guys' voices just makes it all worth it for me. I just
I'm
want
pretty
you guys
sure
to know that.
we're all on some list now after watching
Absolutely.
this video.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of, I mean, I guess YouTube's a thing and people make content and kids make content, whatever, but this reminded me of like some of the school video projects I used to do when I was a little kid. Mine were never this deranged, that's for sure, but I actually won an award for an animation I did in the 5th grade, and it was racing related, and I fucking wish I still had it. I don't. I just have the T-shirt that I won for it. But I fear that what I did was like this, and it made people feel this uncomfortable. So if it was, and you did see this displayed in the fucking Walton Art Center in Fayetteville, Arkansas, I do apologize. You know, I don't want to. I don't know if it would keep me out from running for office someday, but if it does, you know, I'd like to apologize to my constituents for doing something that made y'all feel the way this video made me feel. So, gross, wrong.
Well, that just makes me happy.
After watching this, I did agree with Riley Herbst, and I do hate Thanksgiving now.
Yeah, maybe he'd seen the video as well.
So the final video, like I said, is the weird history of the Ware brothers, and I gotta look up and see what the hell this kid's name is. The YouTube channel
Vanilla
is
Wafer.
Vanilla Wafer, and the kid kind of seems like just a young, nerdier Brock Beard as far as his voice and delivery are concerned. He's got a bunch of followers. I know I don't know. He's just one of those YouTubers that thinks he's an actual NASCAR journalist or wants to be, which we'll get into.
He's also got a lot of custom noggin bosses. Yeah.
Oh, that's a bad sign. A very bad sign. Yeah. You shouldn't have any noggin bosses, let alone many.
Custom ones.
Yeah. So, again, this is like just a history of the Ware brothers and the NASCAR team, and you know, obviously, kind of, it's more based on Cody than anything else, because I mean, he's the one with the most history in NASCAR. But you know, he kind of starts off with giving a little rundown of how there's been all these, you know, successful brother teams in NASCAR throughout the years, and basically how the Wares are the worst of all of them, which is not a surprise at all. I mean, he even mentions the Sieg brothers, who I think have done more in their couple years in NASCAR than the Ware brothers have. It did tell me a little more about Cody than I knew.
More than I needed to know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't know his history, and he does have some history in other series. You know, he ran like Legends and Modifieds, and ran in IMSA.
He ran an IndyCar too, which people forget
IndyCar.
about. Yeah.
He was a Rookie of the Year in some sort of Lamborghini series. I guess 2014 through 16, he ran part-time in trucks and Xfinity. He only had 2 top 20s, one in each series throughout those 3 years. 2016, he also tried to qualify at Sonoma in a Cup car, but was the only car to not qualify. 2017 is when his dad starts the Cup team, and you know, he was a part-time schedule that year. He didn't finish any races at all. They were almost all mechanical DFs, except for, and this is where it starts to get fun, 2017 Southern 500, he gets in a wreck with AJ Allmendinger and Matty D. And
Stenhouse.
He didn't mention Stenhouse.
Allmendinger was in the 47, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the 47 team, they were pretty vocally pissed off at this and blamed him for it, blamed Cody for it. But the fun starts online when Matty D gets involved.
I had forgotten about this, by the way.
He and Cody start going back at it, back and forth with each other. Landon Castle's involved. A bunch of other drivers are involved. But Cody throws the hammer down by saying, well, at least I didn't cheat on my wife, to Matty D, like multiple times, which is just like real chaotic behavior for a professional athlete to say something like that. I don't remember this at all, but it is very, very funny to me that as someone who's been a poster since they first got on the internet 25 years ago, I know how this strategy works.
My favorite part of that was Dale Jr. responding to it with the gif of Nick Cage saying, it's like, "You don't say," with a question mark. It's like, Dale, why are you getting involved in this? And then later, Dale had tweeted, "Bedtime, nothing good happens after midnight here."
Yeah, it was good.
And Amy Earnhardt said, "I kind of want to delete my Twitter now."
So from here, again, there's some more interesting stuff that I didn't necessarily know. I guess after this, Cody took a bit of a break from NASCAR. He was running other series. But then Cody's mental health issues come up. They say he, first off, the kid says he has Asperger's, which nobody calls it Asperger's anymore. It's autism. Like, Asperger's is like a term that people in that realm don't use anymore.
News to me.
They also said
I've learned more from you just now than I have from all these videos, so thank you, Brien.
Yeah, there you go. He also says he suffers from anxiety and depression, which, I know what that's like. But he says the reason why was some trauma that he suffered as a teenager when he was running with a bad crowd and he was set on fire in the woods. I've never heard this fucking story in my life.
Yeah.
And
saying that, yeah.
the way the kid, I did a tiny bit of research, and Cody told the story a couple different times. And one time he made it sound like they just did like an extreme hot foot situation, where but then another time he told the story, he was like beaten down in the woods and they poured gas on his legs and set him on fire. So I don't know exactly what happened, but either way, it's pretty fucked up. But then this kid, the narrator, he tries to incorporate himself in the story, saying, "Oh, I know what it's like. I suffered from mild depression and anxiety." Like, fuck off, dickhead.
Bitch,
Were you ever lit on fire?
everybody does.
Shut up.
You don't hear me talking about it.
Yeah, Jesus
Which I guess
Christ.
is the opposite reaction to mental health. But whatever, like. If you do suffer, we're here for you. By the way, not to minimize your situation, but I don't really buy it from this kid. Anyway,
we can make fun of the
set
kid.
on fire, though.
no,
Yeah, but the kid making about himself is worth mocking. But from
absolutely
here,
worth mocking. Yes,
Yes.
fuck you.
Then the kid mentions, he starts to talk about Carson Ware and how he kind of followed his brother's footsteps. He seemed to always be more passionate about his rap career, which I did
And face
listen
tattoos.
to about a minute of one of his songs, and it's very Machine Gun Kelly-esque, if that's your thing.
No.
Which it's
That would've
very
been my
much not my
guess.
thing.
Yeah. What are the odds? Yeah. Carson
then
seemed to be
from
a
the-
little better, honestly, as a driver.
Maybe.
Seemed to be.
So then we jump to 2021, where Rick Ware decides to go full-time racing, and it's mentioned that the team's big accomplishment was the fact that they just had 4 cars running in 2021. Cody's anger issues once again become an issue, though, when at Martinsville.
This is my favorite.
He got into it with his teammate, James Davidson, and Cody threatened to put him in the firewall, put him firewall deep in the wall, which you shouldn't do that about your teammates.
This didn't get mentioned on the video here, but my favorite part of that entire interaction was James being on the radio being like, "Rick, get your fucking son under control." Dude, like actual radio, that's an exact quote. Get your son under control.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while Cody's doing this shit on the track, Carson got arrested. Now it says assault on a woman and damaging property, which the kid tells the story where he was shithoused in his friend's house where he was staying, and basically destroyed the house and slapped his friend's wife. So not quite as dark of a story as Cody's story,
Not
but
ideal.
still dark. Not a good thing. You don't want to slap any woman
2:30 in the
or anyone.
morning on a Wednesday.
Yeah. This got Carson kicked out of his ride with SS Greenlight and and suspended from NASCAR, which 2022 he is reinstated.
Anytime you got to apologize to Bobby Dotter, it's not a good deal. So
Yeah. That jumps. The one quote from the kid, though, is, "What in the world is going on in the Ware household?" Which I don't know if that question's been answered yet.
no.
2022 was a little bit of a quieter year for the Ware family. Cody ran the full season. He got 5 top 20s and a 6th in the Daytona 400. However, 2023 is when it all falls apart again, where at Bristol, it was announced that Cody was out of the car, and there wasn't really any reasons given. Now, this is the other funny part. The narrator says, about that time, Cody and I had developed an acquaintanceship, and I was concerned.
Is that even a word? Acquaintanceship?
It is a word, but listen,
no one uses.
if you are actually trying to be a journalist of any type, which it's definitely what this kid is trying to do, you don't talk about any relationships, and you're not really supposed to develop any sort of relationships with your subjects. To say you have an acquaintanceship with somebody, that means Cody probably just responded to a couple of his DMs, and now the kid thinks there's this relationship between the two of them.
Well, it's like how Ultimate 23 Dragon has a acquaintanceship with Johnny Benson.
Well, yeah, I mean that kind of just harkens back to the whole parasocial relationship thing that a lot of people develop in any sort of fandom, really, and that's definitely what this kid is doing here. But yeah, Cody, eventually it came out that Cody was arrested for felony assault. He strangled his girlfriend. So both the brothers are not driving at this point. Eventually, the charges were dropped because apparently Cody's girlfriend had been arrested early in the year for assault on him. So they just both dropped the charges and let it all go. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But yeah, it's not good. Definitely, you should not be beating the shit out of each other if you're in a relationship.
No drywall is safe.
But yeah, 2024, both Cody and Carson returned to NASCAR, only making a couple starts towards the end of the year. Cody is not driving the car full time next year, as Corey LaJoy is taking over that ride, and who knows what the Ware brothers will be in. The kid once again makes this video about himself, saying he has an on and off relationship with Rick Ware. Apparently, he's made other videos criticizing the team. I couldn't find them. The kid has like 6,000 videos on his fucking page.
I'm not about to try and find him either. So.
Yeah, no.
That's for the internet.
So yeah, this kid's weird and he sucks. And again, the video was somewhat interesting and informing. Like, that's why I chose it. But I won't be choosing another one because fuck this kid.
Yeah, the only thing I took away from this was the fact that I had never come up with the term the Busch Light brothers before. For the Ware brothers, and it seems appropriate for this situation since the Busch brothers also have their own level of goofiness off track and on track, but they've both won championships and races, and the other two have not. So Busch Light Brothers is pretty good. If you want that T-shirt, just let us know. We'll go ahead and print a few off. It's a great stocking stuffer. You can go to meetmeatapplebees.rickwareracing.com and pick those up. Yeah, True Love, what do you think?
The nice thing I'll say about the video is that I thought he had some fun little graphics that he added here and there.
Yeah.
There's one segue he had where he said the word still, S-T-I-L-L, and a pile of metal steel flashed on the screen for half a second. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'd noticed was he had no problem saying the name Cody Ware, but he could not say the name Rick Ware. He said Rick Rare every time.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Oh, man, after a while, Jesus.
My favorite part of the video was when it kicked off and he introduced Cody and Carson as the son of Rick Ware Racing's owner.
Yeah, that's so
which
weird.
Which is a weird way to say that. So let me put some positive on this here. Again,
somebody's got to.
Yeah. I don't want anyone listening to us talk shit about this video that none of us really liked all that much to dissuade anyone from trying to make their own content. Honestly, I thought this was pretty good in comparison to a lot of shit out there. Like that Black Flags Matter kid who just plagiarizes stuff, and there's a lot of people who just like enter Wikipedia articles into AI, and there's a lot of shit out there. This kid very clearly put effort into it. Yeah. It seems genuine.
Research.
There's some goofball shit in there, but, that's sort of the stuff that you work out as you get further into it. So I do wish him well. I really do, even though there's some things in here that annoy me. And I would not let a critique like ours dissuade anyone from trying to make their own content and going out there and trying to grow this thing, because it all has its place, I guess. So good luck to you, but, yeah, just don't fucking equate your own problems to Cody Ware's. That's just not a good idea to begin with.
He dug up a lot of great pictures, too, that I had never seen before.
Yeah. Also, shout out to his very supportive girlfriend. I thought that was nice. I enjoyed that part of it. I thought that was nice. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I got. So thanks, Brien. That was awesome. I really appreciate
Maybe do better next time.
We can't win them all, but, this was certainly one where we didn't collectively. And the listeners here, if they're still listening and watching these videos, we'll do better next time, won't we, Brien? Tell them.
Maybe. Well,
say it.
I'm not going to make any promises because my taste is all over the place. But next week, though, we'll be doing something a little different, I guess. I think we're finally going to get around to watching Driven.
Yes.
Now, one, this isn't on YouTube, but it is for free on Tubi. Now, if you don't already have Tubi on your smart TV, you can just go to Tubi.com
it's on
and
Pluto,
watch it from your
Pluto
browser.
TV as well. It's very easy to look this up. If you just look up Driven, click on one of those links, it pops right up. So
there are many ways to watch this for free, just not on YouTube, so it's out there. We're not going to do a watch-along because that'll take forever, but... yeah, we're going to watch that, and we'll have our notes and stuff for next week. And I've never seen this. I know it can't be good.
I've watched it several times. I cannot wait for you guys.
But yeah, I'm excited because it's been on my list for quite some time. So,
and for those of you guys who don't know what Driven is, of course, this is Sylvester Stallone's attempt at making a racing movie. It was supposed to be about Formula One, but couldn't afford it, so they went to kart. And what we get is truly a spectacle. There's been a lot of... It's not the first time this sort of thing has been done. Even fucking Marshall Pruitt did an entire breakdown of this movie and all that. So there's a lot of people who have done this before. But again, the fact that you guys haven't seen this yet is really special to me. And I can't wait to share this with you guys as being the IndyCar guy in the on the podcast here. Boy, you're in for a fucking treat.
Oh, boy.
Can't
gonna be
wait.
Great. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess with that, Rob, you already mentioned there's not really much racing going on this weekend. So yeah.
Turkey-themed races.
Lots of turkey-themed races. That's right. Again, Ventura, that's probably the big show of the weekend for me. It's one of the biggest midget races of the year. Kind of closes the season down, and everyone starts getting ready for Chili Bowl. Again, for you NASCAR fans out there, Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson are both running. Kyle Busch is also running the Chili Bowl this year, so that's going to be exciting. This will be your first chance to see what he can do on dirt. If you've been watching Millbridge or anything like that, you already know that he can kind of wheel it. And I mean, he's done plenty of other extracurricular stuff before, so Kyle will probably handle himself all right. But it's a tough crowd.
There was a great video the other week of Kyle trying to do a seat fitting in a midget, and he got stuck.
Yeah, he's not a 4 foot tall, what's the word I'm looking for here? I can't use the word that the car's called.
Jockey. He's not jockey sized.
He's not a small guy in comparison to some of these people. Kyle Larson's like 3 foot tall and like 80 pounds, and the rest of the field is as well. Except for T-Mez, he's pretty big. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be exciting this weekend, and there is plenty to watch. So if you're into it, I think there is sort of a special secret link that exists again. If you guys are interested in checking any of this out, please send us a DM, and if I've got it, I'll happily send it to you. Because again, there are some good shows this weekend, and I know we all get tired of fucking 13 hours of football. At least I do anyway. So if you want to watch some racing this weekend, you can, and we'll gladly help you out.
There you go. Cool. Well, as always, you can follow us on Instagram at meetmeatapplebees and on Twitter at meetmeatapplebees. I am Speedway Screens on all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the store, and don't even worry about that discount code this week because as of right now, I've started my Cyber Week deals. 15% off today, Wednesday, when you're listening to this, and there will be some bigger discounts throughout the weekend. So just follow me on Instagram and see what you can save.
Nice.
Snake Mountain _ True Love, where I will be going into great detail about my new acquaintanceship with Casey Kane.
I look forward to it. Rob Motes _ unofficial on Instagram. My band's called These Wild Plains. Just about to finish up the new Charlie Marie record. That shit sounds dope. Also, quick shout out to my good buddy Ken Bob. We all met him at the World Finals in Charlotte. He sent me a pack of stickers for his go-kart team, Yee Motorsports. Nice. Yeah, they run outlaw karts down south on dirt tracks and all that, and they do pretty well for themselves. So Kenny's a great guy. Anytime I get to see him, it's a pleasure, and thank you for sending those along. He told me I'm the only person in the Northeast to have these stickers, and I absolutely believe that shit. And they'll be posted prominently down here in the bar. Again, I say this every time we talk about racing or short track racing, whatever in general. The people are the best part, and Kenny is definitely one of those guys that I look forward to seeing anytime that the cars are involved or not. Just a good guy. So, yeah, give them a follow, Yee Motorsports. And, yeah, again, thanks for the stickers. I look forward to posting them everywhere around here.
There you go. Well, with that, looks like the check is here. So thank you for once again joining us at Applebee's.
Oh, hang on. I didn't flush the septic tank down. We're still sitting with these turds here. Man, I wonder how many fucking tanker trucks had to come in to suck the porta potties out at Florence this weekend. If they couldn't handle the Wi-Fi, I'm sure the toilets were fucked up. So, R.I.P. guys.
Great. All right. Anyway. Well, thanks again, folks. We'll talk to you next week.